Hello some viewers, how are you all? Welcome back to another video. Guys, in this video we are going to discuss Witz Innovation Lab interview questions. These are the latest questions what they have asked in the interview. You guys can follow this pattern. These are the questions for almost fresher to experienced level questions. Okay, let's dive into it. Okay, the first question. Tell me about yourself. What you can tell. If you're experienced guy, you can start by telling your name, your experience, the projects you have worked on, etc. What is your relevant experience in Selenium? So this was the experience question. If a guy has 7 or 8 years experience, if he has worked on 2 or 3 years experience with Selenium, you can add that. So tell me about yourself. Start by your name. State your projects, tools have you worked on, and the latest project you might be knowing more. So tell about the latest projects and what is the tool you're working on and your roles and responsibilities in your current company and your previous companies if you have. So relevant experience on Selenium, 2 years if you have only worked on 2 years or any years of experience you have. So what is Selenium? So this interview was heavily based on testing Java Selenium questions. So I'll be adding this in the description. You guys can follow through. So what is Selenium? So what is Selenium? We can write Selenium is a open source testing tool. It is free for all. It is not cost. It is not like UFT where you'll have a trial period of these many days and after that you have to purchase the tool. Selenium is open source. You can easily download the jar files or the Selenium and you can start your automation testing. So it is an open source testing tool which automates web browser actions. So basically it is used for web automation. It provides the tools that can interact with the browser, can automate browser actions like click, input, select, navigate, etc. So you can tell up to here. So here one other question was, how do you perform right click in Selenium? So in order to perform right click, we can also have double click, we can also have normal click. But for right click, we'll create an action class and we'll give a name as actions. We'll give a new action driver. So like this we can write actions, new actions, driver. Let me enter it here. So after that, we can give a web element or find by XPath, etc. For example, let me give a space here. So this is the locator which I have used. So element locator, driver dot find element by ID. You can use by XPath. You have to just find the locator, and based on the actions class, I'll give a context click. So actions dot context click of the element dot perform. So this will give you the right click. So this will perform the right click. So here find the locator through actions class, and based on the locator you can give a context click. Okay, let's move on to another question. What are the components of Selenium? So Selenium, if they ask like this, what are the content components of Selenium? You can say Selenium has 4 components: Selenium IDE, RC, which is deprecated, WebDriver, and Selenium Grid. So this is one of the common questions which they ask in the interview. What are the components of Selenium? You can say Selenium IDE, Selenium RC, Selenium WebDriver, and then Selenium Grid. So what are the different weights in Selenium? This is also one of the most important question asked. So there are 3 weights. Okay. First is explicit weight, implicit weight, and then fluent weight. So how can we define implicit weight? Where it is used? Okay. So implicit weight. So I'll paste it here. We'll write driver. Driver is a reference variable. So manage timeouts, implicit weight. So we have initialized the Chrome driver and Chrome is about to launch, right? I want the Chrome to be launched properly. So let me add that. This is implicit wait for you. Okay. So now this is simple example of implicit wait. Now where we can use explicit wait. Okay. What is explicit wait? You have to explain that also. Okay. Let me write the definition of implicit wait here. A simple textbook definition. Implicit wait in Selenium is used to tell the WebDriver to wait for certain amount of time before it throws an exception. So you can write implicit wait is a wait which in Selenium used to tell the WebDriver to wait for certain amount of time before it throws a no such element exception. So this is the example manage timeout implicit wait. Okay, now we'll see what is explicit wait. So explicit wait in Selenium is used to tell the WebDriver to wait for certain conditions. For example, expected condition is there, element not found exception is there. In that we'll give a wait for the WebDriver to wait for certain conditions. Okay, we'll see that in an example also. So explicit wait in Selenium is used to tell the WebDriver to wait for certain conditions like expected conditions. Our maximum time is exceeded before throwing this element not visible error. So we have many cases. Let us see this example here. Let's say I have added username and password. After I'm clicking on sign in. Okay. So my page is getting loaded and I'm waiting for the page to get loaded and I want to see some title in the page. Okay. Title in after the login. So at that time we can use this. So let me add an example here. So this is an explicit wait. So before this, what I'm doing, I've logged into my website. So username and password I have added. After this, I want to make sure that Azure Technocoder website is there. So Azure is there or not. So I'm waiting for this element. I have added expected conditions as I have mentioned here. Expected conditions, and I'm waiting until that visibility of the element by using this expert. This is explicit wait. What is the third wait here? Fluent wait in Selenium marks the maximum amount of time WebDriver to wait for certain condition becomes visible. So this is fluent wait. So fluent wait, let me add the definition. You can give this definition in the interviews, not an issue. So fluent wait is Selenium marks the maximum amount of time for Selenium WebDriver to wait for certain condition. Just to remember that and you can say in the interview. So syntax I'm going to add it. So you can add this fluent wait like this. So I've taken a wait class and wait keyword and I've given fluent wait of WebDriver. Reference will be by driver. And here I've given 10 and time unit I have specified as seconds. Same like implicit wait, I have given 10 and I've specified time unit on seconds. You can give milliseconds, etc. And I'm ignoring an exception here. So these are the waits in Selenium. So I'll add this entire thing in the description. You guys can look around it with answers I'll add. So how do you handle frames? So how do you handle frames in Selenium? So if I have an element, I'm trying to detect that I have a proper XPath, but still while running I'm not able to identify the frame. Why it happens? So the answer is driver dot switch to dot frame. Okay, in the frame we can give here ID or we can give name. For example, ID I have 0. If I want driver dot switch to dot frame, I'll add it here. I can give frame name as let's say iframe. This is by name, so I'll give iframe here. How do you perform drag and drop in Selenium? Okay, what is this? I have an element A. I want to drag drag A element to B. How can we handle this? First, what we'll do? We need a drag source element and a destination element. Okay. So let's see, let's take, I have a source element. So first I'll take the source element. I just drawn a sample XPath here. So XPath I have given the ID as source. I'll copy the same. I'll find the destination element. So I'll write destination and I'll write here destination element which will be there. So the destination element is drop element and the source element will be drag. So now what I'll do, I'll create an action class. Remember we created an action class at the top. For right click, we can copy the same thing. Actions equal to new actions of driver. We will copy the same thing. Afterwards, what we can do? So we can take another action class, which I'll take drag dd, which is for drag and drop. Here I'll be using the actions. We'll have a method in Selenium. If you click on drop, click and hold will be there. So actions dot click and hold. We have to give here source element dot move to element destination element and dot release to destination element. Then we have to build and dot build will be there. After that we can use dd dot perform. This will do the drag and drop operation successfully. How do I scroll an element in Selenium? So this is also one of the frequently asked questions. How can I scroll an element in Selenium? In the sense, you have a big web page and the element is at the bottom which is not visible on your current DOM. How can you scroll to that particular element? Okay, with JavaScript executor we can see JavaScript executor. So I'm finding the web element L which has a text other. Okay, so that other is not there yet. So what I have to do, I have to execute a JavaScript executor driver. Okay, so driver, so I can take it like this. So here JavaScript executor and driver is the reference variable which is the object. I'm using execute script and arguments of 0 scroll into view equal to true. And which element of I. That's it. So this is the way to scroll element in Selenium. What is the final keyword in Java? So you can explain the final as it has three things. Final variable is there, final method is there, final class is there. So final variable, final variable will see. For example, if you give variable as final and if you're trying to give additional value, it will throw an error. Okay. So let me see an example. This is the final variable. So final variable we have taken here and final int I equal to 0, I equal to 30. If you give again initialize a value, assigning extra value, it will tell okay, error is generated above because the final is given to this particular variable. This value cannot be changed. Second is final method. What is a final method? Okay, you cannot override a final method. Okay, let us take an example. I have a class, so I'm writing here final method. Okay, so class bike has a method called void run. Okay, and this is final. So what happens if I have this one? So I have a Honda class which extends the bike and I'm using the same thing run. Okay, so void run is here and final void run and void run is here. As we have given running safely up to 100 kilometers per hour, but still it's the overriding here. If you override like this, it will throw you a compile time error. What the error will be? So this is the error we'll get, compile time error. So this is a variable first one. Second one is a method. Okay, let's see the final class. If you have a final class, you cannot extend, you cannot inherit a final class. Okay, I'll give an example. So I have a final class here, final class, I have bike, I have not given any methods or variables. Honda one is trying to extend the bike, which is a final class, and what the error will be? The error will be a compile time error. Method overloading is simple. Same method name with adding more parameters. Overriding is same method name with in different classes. Okay, I'll give a overloading example. Both are examples of polymorphism. Overloading is compile time polymorphism. Overriding is runtime polymorphism. So this is overloading. So same method and we are overloading the parameters here. Okay, and down is an example for overriding. This is overloading and this is overriding. We can have many more examples. You can have a look at it. So how do you automate Windows with web application in Selenium? So normally Selenium is used purely for web applications automation, not for Windows automation. Okay, how can we still do that? You can easily answer like this. that automation of Windows is not possible. But if you use external tools like Sikuli, PowerShell, etc., normally we cannot automate Windows. But if you are integrated with Auto IT, external tools, we can, to a certain extent, we can do it. Okay. So this is last question. Any questions for me? So this is one of the trickiest questions we can they'll ask. It is very lame to say that you don't have any questions. You can easily say first inquire about the company. You can ask them about the projects. After telling them about the company, people would love to hear what the company is about. Let's say Biz Innovation. If you just tell to the person any questions, you can say, okay, this company is about working with this client, and you guys are into healthcare domain, etc. You can add that particular thing, and you can ask about them projects, and you said you can thank them for the interview. So this was the Wiz Innovation Lab interview questions of 2023 from refresher to experience. Hope you'd have liked everything. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment below. Till then, guys, take care. Have a great day. Bye bye.